All right, here we go. For as great as last night was, tonight, maybe, just maybe, not as good for a multitude of reasons. I'm sure we'll discuss in, I don't want to say great length tonight. We're going to be honest. Great length would be the wrong term to use here. But quite the difference, I don't want to say 7 hitters makes, but you thought you were going to maybe come into this thing with a tie baseball game, top 9. Instead, 7-3 with a quick 1 out. So, kind of is what it is. Kind of is what it is, chat. Don't know what else to tell you. Love you. That's where we're
Love you too. No, I don't have any graphics up, do I?
Yeah, I was getting ready to take care of it for you. You're locked in. I got you.
I don't think we got the score in here. What is it? 7-3?
Yeah.
I got it.
All right. Shout out Tyler Stevenson, though. I don't want no slandering Tyler Stevenson. I mean, I don't know who would be slandering him, but just in case we're going to actually maybe talk about the pass ball, but let's be honest.
I mean, I feel like that was on. I mean, that was.
Yeah, you can't spike a baseball.
Like 8 feet in front of the plate.
Look at him. He got 3 hits tonight.
Came to play.
Should have made the play at second base. I mean, Lux probably made it, but doesn't matter. Wasn't routine. That's going to be a hit. Whoa.
Tell you what, their middle infield is really bad defensively. That could be something that cost them in the playoffs, just in the back of the head.
Could be.
All right, let's get a bottom bar up here. Let's put our names on here. All right, we got something going.
Yeah. I mean, Mookie Betts was, he's -3. That's above average. And then we got, jeez.
Game's over.
All right. It makes this a little, it is what it is. That feels like a good way to go out, too. Feels like a good way to go out. All right, we'll be back in just a minute. We got a show to do.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurel Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Win! Line to the right field. Genius, the first run ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
All right, a losing edition, a late night losing edition of Chatterbox Reds, and the Cards were not in the favor from the very start. We knew this going in. We tried to reverse jinx it. Nick did his best last night. He did his absolute best, and it was holding out some hope there. But tonight's a night where, chat, folks that are listening in the morning, we're gonna have to find a way to get a little bit back on track. Nick is working himself to death. He's got a newborn. If I'm going to be completely honest, I would have not made this show if it wasn't for my wife. I'm being 100% honest. I've missed innings 2 through 7, and would have been all right if I missed 2 through 9. If we're being completely frank, Nick, because the outcome would have been the same. But I'll ask you, how are you doing? I know you're tired. I don't know how you want to do this. If you want to just persevere through, act like the tough guy, and act like you're doing great, you tell me. Or you can just say, you know what, I'm really tired. We're going to do our best tonight.
I'm doing okay. I tell you what I'm really worried about is this week's like slowly turning into like third shift. Like
yeah, exactly.
like I was like, I think Monday night I was in bed at like 4, and then a couple nights ago it was 5, and then last night it was like 6. Now come next week when we're starting at 6:40, and it's gonna be a whole different world. So I'm more worried about my adjustment than right now. But hey, we'll find a way.
Find a way, we will. All right, I know you're kind of slaving over the box score recap here. I'm just gonna say this on the front end of the show. Whether or not this makes it in the podcast or not, I don't know. But I just want to say that we do appreciate everybody jumping in here this late and kind of feeling this thing out, because I think there's one of two ways to feel about this game. I was incredibly pissed off there towards the end because it felt like the Reds could have made the plays to keep themselves in it. But something dawned on me. I don't know if it dawned on you the same way. Maybe at some point, one team has better players. One team probably should make the winning plays, and one team at some point is going to show their true colors and probably not make the winning plays. And I mean, maybe that's a damning thing to kind of believe, but that's how I feel. I don't know if that's fair or not, but that's how I feel. It just felt like, you know what? They had a guy named Mookie Betts, pretty damn good player. They had a guy, named Shohei Ohtani, pretty damn good player. They both produced tonight. And then you find yourself in the ninth inning, or not the ninth, excuse me, but the eighth inning there. And Fernando Cruz, like, what a tease that was. Just an unbelievable job of striking out, a couple guys in big time spots. Gets Shohei Ohtani to ground into what could have been a double play. I'm not going to say should have been a double play. Could have been a double play. But I'm sure, Nick, you'll have all of it in the box score recap, and we'll kind of get through it. But I don't know if you have anything to add before we jump into that box score recap.
Yeah, I got another point, but I'll save it for a little bit deeper conversation for this show. All right, box score recap. James Paxton retired the Reds 1-2-3 in the first on just 10 pitches. And in the bottom of the first, Frankie Montas gave up a solo home run to the first batter he faced. Mookie Betts just barely got out of the park. First row in right center field, 374 feet. 1-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the third, Shohei Ohtani continued his terror of Frankie Montas. He had a 2-run home run, also just barely out down the left field line. It was Ohtani's 5th home run off poor Frankie Montas in just 26 career at-bats. 3-0 Dodgers. But the Reds did fight back. Top of the fourth, Jonathan India, back in the lineup, had a leadoff single. He got over to second base on a wild pitch. Elly Cruz grounded out, moving India over to third. And then India scored on a steer ground out that actually he reached on an air. 3-1 Dodgers. Frankie Montas was able to get out of a big jam in the fourth when he struck out Shohei Ohtani with 2 outs to end the inning. Then in the top of the fifth, Stuart Fairchild hit a solo home run to left center field. His 3rd of the year, 3-2 Dodgers. Frankie Montas, he did retire the last 4 batters he faced. Final line for Montas, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 1 strikeout, the 2 home runs allowed. In the top of the 6th, Tyler Stevenson hit a solo home run to left center field. first time all year James Paxton allowed multiple home runs, and the Reds back off the mat tied it up at 3. Lucas Sims threw a scoreless bottom of the 6th, then the Reds turned it over to Cruz in the 7th. Enrique Hernandez singled on the 9th pitch of the at-bat to lead off the inning. Cruz then struck out Mookie Betts on 3 absolutely nasty pitches. Then Shohei Ohtani hit a ground ball to Jeimer Candelario playing first base on Friday night. Candelario threw to Elly to get the out at second base. Elly probably should have just ate it, but he tried to throw out Ohtani. It got all the way back to the dugout or the screen or something. Ohtani got second base, and that proved costly when Cruz, after he intentionally walked Freddie Freeman, Will Smith singled home Ohtani to make it 4-3 Dodgers. Freeman took third on that single, and that too proved to be important as Cruz threw a wild pitch to make it 5-3 Dodgers. Alexis Diaz came in the 8th, seemingly to probably get some work. His work was giving up 2 runs. Reds lose 7-3. Reds fall to 19-26 on the season.
That was a fantastic box score recap, and I'm being dead serious. Deep Drive of the Day is sponsored by Deep South Commodities, and who else would it have been off a left-handed pitcher in L.A.? Stuart Fairchild. Deep fly ball, 101.6 off the bat, 405 distance, 27-degree launch angle. The win probability jumped a whopping to 35%. That was up 11%. 11.7 if you're keeping real track, of course. But DSC, they are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. And thank you, as always, to John and his team. Good swing by Fairchild. Great swing by Fairchild. All right, let's jump into it. I think we're in a position where this is probably the most kind of breaking point of the game. Yeah, I mean, listen, whether Diaz would have come in and done what he did regardless, we'll never know. I think that's a discussion of how much we could be concerned about him at some point, but we'll talk about it if it arises. But let's get into it. Fernando Cruz inherits a runner. It does seem as if now Fernando struggles a little bit when he inherits runners. But having said that, his stuff was great. His splitter was fantastic. He just didn't get beat by the splitter ultimately, and that's what kind of I don't know how you feel, Nick, but that's kind of what stung a little bit for me. It was like, all right, you got out of this mess with the splitter. The thing's working tonight. You got terrible swings out of Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts looked lost up there. And now you find yourself in a position where you try to sneak a fastball by Will Smith, and he's ready for it, and you give up a run that you otherwise would have at least. If you're going to get beat, let's get beat on our best stuff. That's kind of how I felt, and I don't know how you. It's one pitch though. I'm not trying to go overboard, but I don't know how you felt about it.
Dodgers are really good. I mean, Elly should have ate that ball.
Yeah, he's trying to make a play.
Yeah, but it does make the inning different. I mean, the last thing you want to do is I'm not trying to crush Elly De La Cruz. He made another really great play early in the game. He's been playing really solid defense overall. But again, that kind of it's more of not really crushing Elly, but it's kind of more of an excuse for Cruz, because if Elly does eat that ball, I think it changes the complexion of that inning. Even if Will Smith singles, it's only first and second. And he would have probably pitched to Freddie Freeman. He didn't even pitch to Freddie Freeman because they walked him, which was the correct call there. So, overall, I don't think I'm like super concerned about Fernando Cruz. I would say this is probably not the series to really look at any pitching performance and make a big deal one way or the other, because frankly, you're not going to see a whole lot of lineups like this. And, like Lucas Sims, he looked pretty good tonight, but Lucas Sims was facing the bottom of the order versus Fernando Cruz going right through the heart of the order. So it's a very, very different ask for both guys. So, but that's where the game was lost today. Would have been nice after you fight back to be able to find a way to get this one. But, you also look at Frankie Montas, and he did do a good job to limit the damage, but the guy gave up like 45 hard hit balls tonight. Like, the Reds were pretty fortunate that he got through 5 innings on 3 runs. So this isn't one that I think you really go, man, shucks, we should have had that one. but would have been nice to steal one because this would have been a straight theft job.
Yeah, and here I go again late at night. I don't know what happens with the lights down here at night, but wild. This is wild. For those that are listening to the podcast in the morning, because there won't be a whole lot of editing in this. My lights just randomly turn on and off. I think I'm just going to live with it, and I'm going to turn my light on here in just a minute. But to finish your point, bottom of the seventh, Elly is going to try to make plays because Elly's capable of making the play, and that's the thing that's the tough. Elly kind of reminds me of the guy that's again, to use a cross analogy here, he's like the Johnny Manziel of football a little bit. He's going to do things that otherwise you probably shouldn't do. If you've watched college football, you'll know what I'm saying. You're not supposed to try to make that play. You're not supposed to throw the ball back across the middle of the field when you're at Texas A&M against Alabama. But you know what? You do it, and it works, and it's the reason that you beat Alabama when they've never lost before in the last 3 years. But again, you watch Johnny Manziel play 2 or 3 weeks later, and then you ask yourself, why did he do that? Well, that's part of it. I've come to realize that, I think, a little bit with Elly. The throw, again, for those that didn't get a chance to watch and are not going to go back and watch, the throw really wasn't that bad. The issue is he throws so damn hard, Nick, that if it's offline by just a little bit, it's on the first baseman so fast that they're not capable of reacting in time. Because if you watch it in slow motion, you're like, that really wasn't that bad of a throw. What's Candelario doing? But you come to realize, well, there's just not enough reaction time for you to be able to make that play if you're Candelario. So, again, it's frustrating, I know, Nick, but I'll be honest. If you're the Dodgers, or we're a Dodgers fan, right, or if you're the Reds, if you flip the roles of the team, I don't think there's one single second that you're thinking, wow, it's really fortunate to get this one. The Dodgers should have won this game. They did win this game. And would it have been nice to steal them? Because what you're saying is this, and I think we can all agree as we move forward here into this late night, is it's going to require the Reds to win a few of these, 2, 3, 4, maybe even I'd say 5 of these over the next month to get them kind of back in a spot where we feel okay. That's kind of my thought, is that they're going to have to steal them. Tonight was an opportunity. They had a chance. It was 3-3, bottom 7, 2 outs, tie game. Could have gotten out of it. You did it. You move on.
Yeah, pretty much summed it up. All right, he's turning on the lights. Hope we're doing well, chat. Hope we are doing well on this now Saturday morning.
Sure. I don't know what's going on. Not a whole lot's working in our favor, as they say. Now, I will admit, I'm gonna get to the supers here in just a bit. But you know what? Hey, we're living. Could be dead. Could be dead. Which is appropriate time. Which is an appropriate time to say, listen, it's not that bad. Okay, keep your chin up. If you're going through a tough time, 988. Text, call if you need it. You want to talk about something positive, Nick? You're a positive guy.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Stevenson first or Fairchild?
Let's go Stevenson first. Yeah, I guess the bigger day. Yeah, he's just an incredible season from him, man. What a turnaround. Again, I've said it several times. I think that this guy put in a ton of work this offseason. I don't think this is just some magic flip of the switch where, oh, yeah, he's the prospect that we all hoped he would be. I think he put in a lot of work on both sides of the ball. 3 hard hit balls today. These weren't cheap hits that he got. He's now hitting 264, OPS of 814. And again, I feel like he's hit better than that. I feel like he made so many hard hit outs throughout the year that his numbers are a little deceiving. I mean, Stevenson's the second best hitter on the Reds right now. Tyler Stevenson, Trace, is the second best hitter on the Cincinnati Reds right now.
Yeah, I mean, it just and I want to say this. I'll say this. He made some great plays tonight. Defensively, he made one stop that we're not going to talk about because it didn't ultimately end up mattering in the end of the day in the game. But if Cruz was able to get out of that inning without giving up the run to Will Smith there, he made a stop a pick that was just really impressive. He's gotten a lot. I don't know. I'll say this about Stevenson. I think it's hard to make these claims night in and night out because you feel like an idiot like a month in and you're like, I probably got ahead of myself. I think we overreacted a little bit with his bat from last season. And I do think he's gotten significantly better defensively. I think he's actually worked on that. I think he realized that was a humongous hole in his game. And he found a way to and again, is he above league average defensively? I don't know. I'm not going to go there yet. But he's gotten himself to where we will call it serviceable, and I think it's very, very much appreciated. I at least I do. I appreciate the attempt. I appreciate the effort, and he's been a bright spot in what seems to be at least a relatively dark season for the offensive side and or position players, I should say.
Yeah, we were talking. Tyler Stevenson were like, well, if he could just either become a much better hitter, the hitter we thought he was, or if he can be better defensively, like we'll take it. And so far, it's only May 18th. Let's not overreact too much, but so far we've gotten both. I did not expect to get both.
Yeah, we have. We've had our cake and we've eaten it too. And that's, like I said, he's one of the few guys that's over exceeded expectations quite significantly. So shout out to Tyler Stevenson. All right, Stuart Fairchild coming in the game again. Left-handed pitcher, smashes a baseball, and continues to do what you'd like to see him do if put in a perfect situation. So, you put him on here because he made a big play. He's obviously in the deep drive of the day as well. Anything to add with Fairchild? Just a good swing.
He's playing his role, well. Again, his overall numbers, kind of like Will Benson, they're skewed. They're the two guys I think you can really look at, and I think you give them a little bit of a pass with their overall numbers because both of those guys played too much and the role they weren't designed to play in. But Fairchild's, playing well in his role. Will Benson, another 0 for 3 night and not in his role tonight, which is disappointing. I wish the Reds could just find a right-handed bat from. I mean, sure, there's got to be a right-handed bat somewhere across baseball that's expendable, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's
like one area where we can get upset about the offseason, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, kind of, because I think that they would have utilized, in my opinion, Steer. They thought that Steer was going to be maybe that kind of outfield DH bat, and they were going to maybe use India. And it's a trickle-down effect, man. There's a real domino effect that happened to this ball club that I know that we continue to, night in, night out, maybe want to use it as an excuse, but it genuinely did happen to this club. I mean, Candelario was a luxury piece. Now he's a foundational piece. You don't have him, then you don't have a team. That's a fact. So we're not going to do that song and dance tonight. It's too late. But anyway, I don't know if anything. Frankie Montas probably just, I don't know. I don't know if it's a reason to be concerned about Frankie yet, but I don't know. He got hit. He got hit. But you know what? This was a team that already seen the ball well against him, and he did. I get he gave his team a chance to win. Is that fair? I don't know. It feels like you.
Hey, if you looked at the numbers coming into tonight, I think you probably go, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna live with that. You would like to see Montas get a little bit more swing and miss. He did only strike out one batter tonight. He only striking out 6.4 batters right now. This is a guy that back in his heyday when he was an all-star was striking out almost 10 batters per 9 innings. And it's still early in the year. He's still trying to come back. But I do think he's going to have to find a little bit more swing and miss if he's going to be that, top of the rotation. I don't want to say top, but you know what I mean? Like number 2, number 3, whatever he is. Right now, he's still a serviceable big league starting pitcher, even, without that. But if he wants to kind of be a guy that could slot up more, higher towards the top, then he's going to have to get a little bit more swing and misses.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. Not going to add a whole lot on Frankie Montas, especially when I didn't get to see him throw to the baseball a significant amount after the second inning there. So, all right, folks, the Game Time app. I used it. That's why I'm overly tired. Not making excuses for myself. This is on me. I decided to do it, but I used the Game Time app today. I drove down to Louisville.
Well, you were there today?
Yeah. Yep.
Anything happened today?
What a wild world of events, and then what an absurd thing that happened in the golf world today. Just incredible. But seeing the big cat, I in my heart knew that I was going to regret if I didn't take my son, who's starting to get into golf, to at least see Tiger Woods in person one time. I don't know how long Tiger's going to go for. I mean, he acts like he want to play, but let's be honest. You watch Tiger Woods play, and I think that he's getting towards the end of his days. If it's not already there, I'd say that it's already there. Little fun fact, Nick, got the Game Time app, downloaded it, used the code CINCI, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Okay, terms do apply, and it has to be your first purchase. New customers only, those types of things. But you know what? I used the code CINCI. I got $20 off. I walked in. I watched the big cat. We watched him play 2 or 3 holes. He birdied 1 hole, and he got a 7 on a hole. And I thought to myself, golf is hard. I just watched Tiger Woods duff a chip that rolled into a bunker, and then I watched him hit a bunker shot that went back into the bunker. And I, at that moment, realized that this game is unbelievably hard. But you know what's not hard? Downloading the Game Time app. You should do it. You should use the code CINCY, CINCY. Get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. First purchase. Terms do apply. Nick, I already said 988, but just a reminder. Hotline, it's there if you need it. Someone in the chat already said that the operator didn't know who Frankie Montas was, but she's about to know.
Stop. I'd probably say Alexis Diaz if you were gonna,
Speaking of Alexis Diaz, by the way, we just went big league transition right there. I don't know if you know that, but that was absolutely elite level transitions. But I do want to say this: we have some supers. Unbelievable job on the supers last night. Thank you so much for the supers tonight. Chase said Rally Juice didn't quite work out, but that's okay. Mark Fetter says we need Marte Juice. Now that's funny. Thank you, Mark. Mark will make you laugh. And then Molly with a big bomb. She said, cheer up, young bucks. Hang in there. 988. Love you all. Molly Votto.
I'm impressed she's still up. I didn't think she was a night owl. I'm impressed, Molly.
Yeah. You know what I'm impressed with or not impressed with? Alexis Diaz. Let's talk about him real fast. I think at this point we're allowed to worry. We already worried. Can we say not to say we've seen this coming. But let's not act shocked. That's how I feel, and I'm not going to overreact to it. People are going to be like, "Well, what do you want to talk about?" Well, at the beginning of the season, everybody was asking me, who had the biggest chance of regressing, and I said Alexis Diaz every single time. You had mentioned it last season about Alexis Diaz, and a whole season ago, you were talking about how hey, I hate to say this, but relievers, they are very fickle. At some point, if you have an unbelievable amount of value, you kind of take advantage of that. Here we are. Fernando Cruz is another guy. We're not going to talk about the trade deadline tonight, Nick, but there's some guys at the deadline that you give up. You send off to their merry way because they're overvalued, and you take advantage of it while you can. Alexis Diaz, we need, if anything, Nick, I'll say this is the last thing I'm going to say about it for tonight. We need him to get hot. We needed him to look like the Alexis Diaz of old, about, let's just call it a month and a half before the before the trade deadline. And then you know what to do. Not going to say it, but you know what to do.
I think I'd be nauseous if I saw what the Mets would have actually gave up for him about 2 years ago. But nonetheless, I think I'm more concerned with how the Reds have treated and used Alexis Diaz this week than his actual results, because I think that is more telling. The fact that he did not pitch last night with a 7-5 run lead, whatever, the two chances they could have brought him in. I thought that was more telling than anything. I think they were waiting for a spot where the probability of a win was low, which you're down 2 runs to the Dodgers. It's pretty low. So I think that to me is maybe more concerning than the actual results because like relievers do have a couple bad games, but my guess is the Reds are seeing more than just that couple bad games that really has them concerned. Lex Diaz has options. Like this isn't a situation where you have to have him pitch through this. This isn't a Jamer Candelario at the beginning of the year. You have to ride it out. He has options, and I'm not saying they're there yet, but I would say they might be one more really bad outing away from having to really consider that.
He does need to get some more work, whatever that is. And maybe it was bad luck the way it all went down, but it felt like he didn't throw for like 10 consecutive days. And then all of a sudden you kind of thrust him in there and you expect him to obviously to still continue to produce in a really tight baseball game. And of course he doesn't. So then you start to be like, well, there he goes. He's blowing saves. And then you find yourself in a spot where he just hasn't performed since. So I'm not trying to make excuses for Alexis Diaz, but I can also say that his management and, his consistency is not ideal for anybody coming out of the bullpen. But you know what? That's the life of a reliever too. Like, that's part of it. You got to find a way. You can't make excuses for these guys time and time and time again. Lucas Sims on the rundown. I'll let you kind of color that in.
I ran out of topics. But no, shout out to Lucas Sims. I mean, he had a really ugly blown save, blown something, blown tie. They all run together.
He's struggled in a couple big spots this year, yes.
Yeah, but that's 5 straight. Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 5 straight scoreless outings from Lucas Sims. So that's good to see. Now, I mean, a couple of them, I think he got some help with the next pitcher that came into the game, got him out of it. But nonetheless, it's good to see Lucas Sims pitching a little bit better. The Reds need him. The Reds need anyone, especially with now Justin Wilson going on the IL today. Carson Spires up. I've been really impressed with what I've saw with Carson Spires. Right. I think if you're having Nick Martinez in the rotation for a little bit, Carson Spires is just a perfect guy to replace his role in the bullpen. But again, when you see Alexis Diaz struggle, when you see Justin Wilson go on the IL, when you see Nick Lodolo go on the IL, that's why you don't just say, let's just cut someone instead of optioning Sam Moll for 8 days and then being able to bring him right back up. You have to play the long game with your pitching staff.
Yeah, I like how you just found a way to needle that Sam Moll dig in there. That was a big league jab by you. That was a big league jab by Dick. Did you see that? All those people that yelling about Sam Moll, he just like snuck that one in the back door right there, which I like because you know why? Because you're very prepared, you're very knowledgeable, you understand the vast majority of situations. Doesn't mean we always have to agree, but I give you credit for that. All right, Reds, MILB, Nick.
All right, let's get to it. Triple-A Louisville, man, they are playing well. They won 7-4 over Columbus. Bats, they've won 9 of 11. They're now 24-19. Fortunately, Omaha's playing really well. They're still 4.5 back in the International League West Division. Remember, they do play first half, second half winners, so it actually matters on May 18th what the standings are. But nonetheless, the actual game, Lyon Richardson was okay. 5 innings, 3 runs, walked 2, struck out 2. Pitcher I really like is kind of a project, but looked really sharp today. Yasver Zuleta, he threw 2 scoreless innings, just gave up 1 hit, no walks, struck out 2. Tony Santillan gave up a run today. Resigns 1 for 4, did steal a bag, his 6th of the year. Nick Martini 1 for 3, hit his 3rd home run, also walked. Martini's hitting .305, OPS of almost 1,400.
Nick, I can't figure out why Nick Martini does great in AAA and Mike Ford does great in AAA, and then they get to the big leagues, and then I don't know, just something happens, some magical thing happens. It's weird.
It's almost like sometimes you're, rearranging deck chairs, even if the overall numbers are, better in AAA versus the majors. But nonetheless, good to see Martini playing well. I do think he'll get another chance with the Reds at some point. This guy did have an over 900 OPS last year with the Reds, and it was a small sample, but anyone that can hit, you might need him at some point. Double-A, Chattanooga. They lost 7-1 to Birmingham. It's officially panic time in Chattanooga. They've lost 7 of 8. They fall to 11-26 on the season. Trace, that is a win percentage of .297. And because I'm a sicko, I looked it up. The Lookouts' worst win percentage in franchise history since they joined the current version of the Southern League was .390 in 2005 when they went 53-83. So Lookouts, they better look out because they could be on the wrong side of history. Rhett Lauder, tough one today, 4 2/3, 9 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Also, because I'm a sicko, I did go back and watch the second inning because he gave up 6 of his 7 runs in the second inning. Not as bad as that line looks. It's still pretty bad. During that inning, there was a ball that scored a hit. It was ridiculous. It was deflected off the shortstop, Jose Torres' glove. Should have been an error. And then there was also a chopper that actually deflected off of Lauder's glove. Might have been able to turn a double play on it, but nonetheless, it ended up going for a hit. Barons did square up several doubles, did have some good hits. This is a really good Barons lineup. That's a White Sox Double-A affiliate. They have a lot of talent there right now. They're rebuilding. But the Barons also did make an out on the bases. But nonetheless, tough outing for Rhett Lauder. Bubba Thompson, 1 for 3 with a double. Tyler Callahan walked twice. Austin Hendrick was 1 for 3. Dayton, they won 5-3 over Great Lakes. Dragons have now won 4 of 5. They improved to 17-20 on the year. Cam Collier homered. It's his first home run since April 28th. Collier now has 8 home runs in 34 games. Hit just 6 home runs in 111 games last year. Sal Stewart 1 for 3 with a double and a walk. Jay Allen 1 for 4 to drive in 2 runs. Stole a bag his 9th of the year. Carlos Jorge was 2 for 4. And then Javi Rivera, really good outing from him. 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Rivera actually entered with an ERA of an even 10. So really good to see him have a good start on Friday night for Dayton. All right, and then low A, Daytona Tortugas, they lost 12-6 to Clearwater. Tortugas fall to 19-18 on the season. Alfredo Duno, he did walk twice. 18-year-old Alfredo Duno, now 18 walks in 27 games, 378 on base percentage. Ricardo Cabrera was 2 for 3 with 2 walks. And then Ariel Almonte hit his 11th home run of the year. Almonte now has 11 home runs in the season. No one else in the Florida State League has more than 6. And last but not least, our friends at the Arizona Complex League. The ACL Reds, they won again. They beat the Complex League Athletics 5-3. Sammy Stafuro, 1 for 3 with a triple and a walk. Shang-In Lin was 0 for 3, but did drive in a run.
All right, and to keep things going, I know that you're talking a whole heck of a lot right now, and I'm going to keep it going. And I'm going to say, you know what, Nick? When do the Reds play again? And not going to ask you why they play again, but I'm going to say when and where and why.
At 9:10, this will be our last game of the entire season. That starts at 9 p.m. or later. As mentioned, the Reds have 2 games against the Rockies at 8:40. Other than that, they don't want to start the rest of the year after 8:10. So those of you who are sick of these West Coast games, tomorrow is the light at the end of the tunnel. All right, Reds going up against Walker Buehler. He's a local guy born in Lexington, Kentucky, went to Henry Clay High School, and he grew up a Reds fan. Went to Vanderbilt. This was a guy, he's had a really incredible career. He's a 2-time All-Star, finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year voting, finished 4th in the Cy Young voting in 2021, 9th in 2019. Coming back off Tommy John surgery, he's only made 2 starts this year. Both of them haven't gone super well for him. He's got a 7.36 ERA, but his fastball velocity is actually up. Buehler in his career, 1 in 3 with a 3.22 ERA and 6 starts against the Reds. Active Reds just 3 for 14. Candelario 0 for 2. Fraley and Stevenson both 0 for 3. Jonathan India, though, he is 3 for 6. All right, then the Reds, Graham Ashcraft, last start against the Diamondbacks, only went 4 innings, skipped 7 hits, 3 earned runs in that one. Does have a career 3.12 ERA and 2 starts against the Dodgers. Through 6 shutout innings in his only start against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium last year. Active Dodgers against Ashcraft, 7 for 30. Freddie Freeman, 3 for 4. Ohtani 0 for 2 with a walk. And Miguel Rojas probably won't be in the lineup. He's 1 for 8. Would like to see him in the lineup, though. All right, Reds Dodgers tomorrow.
That it is. We'll be back. We'll be back, obviously, hopefully better than ever tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I mean today. And maybe not today because it might be tomorrow by the time it starts. Hopefully that's a who's on first type situation there, and you have some fun with that. But just want everybody to know, if you're a sports fan and you're looking for something to watch, our Avalanche, Nick, they're in a dogfight in overtime right now against the Dallas Stars. Dallas just put one in the back of the net, but it looks as if they took the goal away. I don't know what the actual call is because I'm not a big hockey guy, but it looks like goalie interference is my guess. Not even sure. They might count this goal and the game could be over. We shall find out. But
I had the under.
Well, then you should be good as long as you realize that there's only one more goal to be scored. So hopefully that's the case.
6.5, I think. So I think I'm going to be okay.
Cleared it.
I got to ask you. I want to ask you.
What's that?
I got to ask you about today. I'm curious, and I bet the people are curious. There really hasn't been a whole lot of red stuff to really talk about. So let's ask something interesting.
Sure.
So what time did you get down to the PGA Championship, and when did you hear about the Scheffler news? I'm curious about that from a guy that was driving down there.
So what happened was I decided I knew Tiger was teeing off at like 1 o'clock today. 1:30, somewhere in that time frame, and I was already tired. As we know, we went to bed. I could not fall asleep last night for some reason, Nick. So I went to bed at like 3:45. I think I kept looking at the clock because I was like becoming like anxious. I'm sure we've all been there in our lives. Like you know you need to get to bed. You know you got to get sleep, and you just can't do it. And you keep looking at your clock. I kept looking at the clock. It was like 3:45 is the last time I consciously remember looking at the clock and having like a real panic attack about it. So then anyways, I get woken up by my son at like 7:45, and that's not it's not his fault. My plan was to try to sleep till like 10 and then just take off and get down there right before his tee time. But he wakes me up at 7:45 and he's like, Scotty Scheffler got arrested. And I'm like, what? Like, Scotty Scheffler is like this dude, super do-good guy, very, very, just like always just taking the high road. I'm like, what? He's like, so first headline I read is that he assaulted an officer, and I'm like 3 hours of sleep in trying to figure this out. Well, that's what I'm running off of. That's what I was running off of until I got my nap in there from the second inning to the sixth inning, and I think it was the seventh innings when I woke up. My wife woke me up, thank God. But yeah, it was a wild day. I got down there. There was people selling free Scotty shirts. It was unbelievable. Like, it was genuinely unbelievable. I will say it was an absolutely disgusting mess. Like, it was just so wet and gross. My poor son, he kind of slipped and fell, and he got a bunch of mud on his butt, and I think that kind of ended the day for him. But got to see Tiger Woods play a couple holes. It was fantastic. If you've not been to a golf event, and you're semi-interested in golf, it's one of the few sports, Nick, I'll say this and I'll end it on that, is it's one of the few sports where you can actually get real close. Like you feel like you're kind of like immersed in the whole thing. You're not distanced. You don't have like nosebleed seats or anything like that. From here to the wall behind me, you're standing next to Tiger Woods, which it's pretty cool. I watched Bryson DeChambeau hit a drive from 6 feet away. It was legit. It was pretty awesome. So I think the Memorial, I always tell people the Memorial, which is up in Columbus, it's a great event as well. So shout out. I guess I can give a bunch of free ads today for golf, so shout out to them. But enjoyed my time. And the rain held off. I didn't get thunderstorms on me, so shout out to that.
You got a great story for life. You and your son. We were there the day that Scotty Scheffler got arrested, because that's a day that's gonna live in infamy. You were there. We were there,
and we seen him tee off. We seen him play like maybe 2 holes. I think I seen him play. But his gallery was so big, I wasn't gonna deal with that. Like, it felt like I don't know. You've been to Great American Ballpark on a sold out crowd where everybody's waiting to get into the gate, and it's just too many people in one spot. I couldn't do it, so I was just like, I'm out of here. See him hit like 2 balls. I was like, that's good enough for me. But That's here nor there. Nick, you got a podcast edit. We got to go. Live stream, folks. You guys are the best. I really genuinely mean that. By the way, Stars, Avalanche, if you're a hockey fan and or maybe just a sports fan, no goal was the deal. No goal. So go watch that. Other news and notes. Today, which I mean is literally today at noon, they do kick off a unified heavyweight championship of the world. I think it goes off at like 6 o'clock Eastern time. Right around that, that's when the ring walks. Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury. Just trying to give you some options out there. If you're like, if this is the Reds thing, the only thing that you really can do in life and watch, well, no. Go watch the hockey game. Make yourself feel a little bit better. If you can't make yourself feel better, call 988. Watch guys punch themselves in the face tomorrow around 6 o'clock Eastern. And if that doesn't make you feel better, then watch the Reds. Maybe they'll do some punching. If they don't do punching, I know one thing they can do, and they can get punched in the face. They've done it a lot this year. But we love them anyways because we're the Reds. Go Reds. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.